and thank you for joining me on 8. I'm Maggie. I really appreciate you. We are in the Momentum Challenge, day 62. We are moving towards our goals, dreams, visions, purposes, acts of service with heart and mind aligned. Okay, so we are doing The Game by Florence, Shinn. We are in her, this is her complete works. And we're going to be working on through this. And okay, so just calm yourself. Day 62 of the Momentum Challenge. And we are going to welcome in the angels. Okay, so we're picking up where we left off in the game. Jesus Christ said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." And he said the kingdom was within man. So take that to heart. The kingdom was within man. And we are all, I think, becoming more and more accepting of this, that God lives within us, that his presence is in us. The Spirit of the living God is in here. And there we go. We are the kingdom. So the kingdom is the realm of right ideas, or the divine pattern. Jesus Christ taught the man's words played a leading part in the game of life. By your words ye are justified, and by your words ye are condemned. So here we go back to that giving and receiving again, right? Many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words. For example, a woman once asked me why her life was now one of poverty and of limitation. Formerly, she had a home, was surrounded by beautiful things, and had plenty of money. We found she had often tired of the management of her home and had said repeatedly, "I'm sick and tired of things. I wish I lived in a trunk." Ooh. And she added, "Today I am living in that trunk." Okay, so no. She had spoken herself into the trunk. The subconscious mind had no sense of humor, and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. So take that to heart. We often talk ourselves, subconscious mind, no humor. Okay, it's going to literally take what you imprint on it and search out the universe and manifest. So sometimes we're talking ourselves into unhappy circumstances. Look at what is coming in all your gates: eye, ear, mind, mouth, all these things. Watch what you're speaking, because we do not want to be pulling in unhappy experiences. We also don't need to be like the, basically like policing ourselves into punishment. If we are having something, we're noticing, okay, this is a pattern where I am speaking not good things, just course correct. In a few years, for example, okay, so where do we go? For example, a woman who had a great deal of money joked continually about getting ready for the poorhouse. In a few years, she was almost destitute, having impressed the subconscious mind with a picture of lack and limitation. So what are you impressing your mind on the Momentum Challenge, day 62? We keep talking about this, about our mind and heart coherence, but we've really been kind of going into the deviling into the mind. What are we feeding our mind, okay? Okay, so we don't want to be giving it pictures of lack and limitation, or thoughts of lack and limitation, or speaking lack and limitation. Fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack may be changed into one of plenty. Okay, so whatever you got going on, you can course correct anytime. For example, a woman came to me one hot summer day for a treatment for prosperity. She was worn out, dejected, and discouraged. She said she possessed just $8 in the world. I said, good. We'll bless the $8 and we'll multiply them as Jesus multiplied the loaves and the fishes. For he taught that every man has the power to bless and to multiply and to heal and to prosper. So I'm hoping you can receive this into your heart, into your mind, into all your speech, your hearing, your eyes. Jesus Christ multiplied the loaves and the fishes, and he taught that every man has the power to bless and to multiply and to heal and to prosper. So you have the power to bless, to multiply, to heal, to prosper, and any other thing under the sun. And since we are working towards the new earth social memory complex and we are working towards higher order values, you are, every day is a miracle. You speak the miracle, and that's just an everyday thing. And it's coming into other people's lives that are not aware of it. You can do all these things. You have the power. Jesus showed us this in his life. So many of our spiritual masters showed this to us in their lives, even though their lives were not easy. And so we are on a time such as this. Continue to practice honing your power. She said, "What shall I do next?" I replied, "Follow intuition. Have you a hunch to do anything or to go anywhere?" So do you have a hunch? Intuition means intuition or to be taught from within. Oh man, and I know so many of you have awesome intuition. It is a man's unerring guide, and I will deal more fully with its laws in a following chapter. A woman replied, "I don't know. I seem to have a hunch to go home. I've just enough money for car fare." Her home was in a distant city and was one of lack and limitation, but the reasoning mind or intellect would have said, "Stay in New York and get work and make some money." I replied, "Then go home." Never violate a hunch. Never violate a hunch. I spoke the following words for her. Infinite Spirit opens the way for great abundance for... She is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. Okay, let's do that again. Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance for you. You are an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to you by divine right. I told her to repeat it continually also. She left for home immediately. In calling on a woman one day, she linked up with an old friend of her family. Through this friend, she received thousands of dollars in a most miraculous way. She has said to me often, "Tell people about the woman who came to you with $8 and a hunch." 8, I am Maggie. Oh, okay, I'm loving this. I mean, I love all the numbers, but 8's very auspicious, and Anyway, there's always plenty of man's pathway, but it can only be brought into manifestation through desire, faith, or the spoken word. Jesus Christ brought out clearly that man must make the first move. Ask, and it shall be given. You seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Matthew 7:7. So in the scriptures, we read concerning the words of my hands, command ye me. Okay, Reverend Ike loves to talk about this scripture because he talks about how the Bible tells us to command God. Here we go. Concerning the word of my hands, command ye me. So, infinite intelligence, God, is ever ready to carry out man's smallest or greatest demands. Every desire, uttered or unexpressed, is a demand. Okay, so secretly or not secretly, what are you uttering? Or what is unexpressed in you that you are demanding? Whew. We are often startled by having a wish suddenly fulfilled. For example, One Easter, having seen many beautiful rose trees in the florist's window, I wished I received one, and for an instant saw it mentally being carried to the door. Easter came, and with it a beautiful rose tree. I thanked my friend and the following day and told her it was just what I wanted. Okay, I just had something like this happen to me today. I love flowers, and I was just thinking how much I would love roses. And out of nowhere, my daughter bought me the most beautiful roses, completely like unexpected. And there's just a lot of little synchronicities that have been going on, but look for those in you, and also look at what your desires or unexpressed demands are. And if you're finding yourself, off, missing the mark, just course correct. So anyway, she replied, I didn't send you a rose tree. I sent you lilies. The man had mixed the order and sent me a rose tree simply because I had started the law in action, and I had to have a rose tree. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart but doubt and fear. And Joseph Murphy would call our doubts and fears and all those things the strangers in our minds. And you know what they say, don't talk to strangers. Many men can wish without worrying. Every desire will be instantly fulfilled. So when a man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. If you start looking at what you are working to manifest, you start to either notice you're very clear, like Neville Goddard could just pick it up and drop it, and boom, he felt the resolution and he moved forward. If you are working on things, you start noticing all these noise and things coming in, like other thoughts, like, well, what if this is what? Just continue to stand in the faith and the truth and the belief that what is will be. Just ignore that 3D nonsense and keep forging ahead with your dreams, visions, goals, purposes, and acts of service. Just continue. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart but doubt and fear. When man can wish without worry, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. I will explain more fully in following chapters the scientific reason for this and how fear must be erased from the consciousness. So get your little eraser out and erase it from your consciousness. We're going to be working on this. It is man's only enemy. Fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of sickness, fear of loss, and a feeling of insecurity on some plane. Okay, so Napoleon Hill also covered those same things. Though what we fear are and basically it covered lack, poverty, failure, fear, loss. I'll go look those up, but I'm just saying, like, when we begin to work within this body of work, we start to notice that the same things are being said over and over to multiple different sources. It's like Dolores Cannon, Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, Joe Dispenza, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Reverend Nike, love you. There's so many of them that are Jesus Christ, Yogananda. I mean, Lao Tzu. Okay, now we're getting Maria Zeppes. There's just wow. Okay, so okay, we got it. But we don't got it. I'm just saying we're getting it. But I'm just saying you have a whole cheering section in the ethers. You've got the angels, you've got fairies, you've got ancestors, you've got the elementals. I mean, you're wrapped. So now you just need to hone your mind and your heart aligned. Okay, so she's going to fully explain it. Okay, so Jesus Christ said, "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" Matthew 8:26. So we can see we must substitute faith for fear. For fear is only inverted faith. Okay, that's something I've heard so many times over my life. Please take that to heart. We must substitute faith for fear, and fear is only inverted faith. So when you look at the hermetic principles, they talk about, like, if you're in fear, you move towards courage, and that they're within the same wavelength. And so when you're looking at this, if you are in fear, walk faithfully towards courage, and just don't worry about the rest. Just continue to take those faith-driven. Remember that if you're in fear, that's your faith inverted. So just pop that faith up and walk courageously in your direction. And it is faith in evil instead of good. Okay, so there we go. Faith for fear, and the fear is only inverted faith, right? And it is also faith in evil instead of good. So we are wanting to have faith in good. The object of the game of life is to see clearly one's good and to obliterate all mental pictures of evil. This must be done by impressing the subconscious mind with the realism of good. A very brilliant man who had attained great success told me he had fully erased all fears from his subconscious by reading a sign which hung in his room. And he saw printed in large letters this statement: "Why worry? It will probably never happen. So why worry?" Dr. David Hawkins liked to say, "And then what? And then what?" And ultimately, he says we always come down to the fear of death, and then we surrender. So, and then what? So he has on there, "Why worry? It probably will never happen." That's a good one. These words were stamped indelibly upon his subconscious, and he has now a firm conviction that only good can come into his life, therefore only good can manifest. And so that's the interesting part too, is sometimes something that we think is bad or we perceive as bad, we may find out later that it was actually happening so that you missed something else worse, or so that you could be in the right place in the right time for another opportunities. There's so many examples of that, but one example I can share is that somebody I know who ended up getting into a small little accident in a parking lot, and then it felt like the worst thing in the world, and then they realized per the news that there was this other big thing that happened and they would have been in that area for that event that was hazardous to health if they had not been in that little altercation in the parking lot. So sometimes things we perceive to be bad, it's actually the universe having our back and protecting us from something or diverting us another way. So that's why we really got to work on our intuition and being able to align with the divine so that we can have really good information. Okay, so in the following chapter, I will deal with the different methods of impressing the subconscious mind. It's a man's faithful servant, but one must be careful to give it the right orders. Man has ever a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it, carried out in amazing detail. It is like a singer making a record on a sensitive disc of the photographic plate. Every note and tone of the singer's voice is registered, and if he coughs or hesitates, it is registered also. So let us break all the old bad records in the subconscious mind. Did you get that? Let us break all the old bad records in the subconscious mind, or maybe just let them go. The records of our lives which we do not wish to keep, and make new and beautiful ones. And that's essentially what this momentum challenge is about, is making this new beautiful life that you want to live. and taking the chance to move in directions that is actually deep intuition from God. So speak these words aloud with power and conviction. Okay. I will now smash and demolish by my spoken word every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the game completed. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. I'm going to read it. And then you. Okay, so here we go. We are going to say this with power and conviction. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness. For they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Yay! Okay, give yourself a hand and celebrate this. Okay. Woo. Okay, so in the following chapters, I will show how man can change his conditions by changing his words. Any man who does not know the power of the word is behind the times. And since you are not behind the times, you all be ahead of the times and in the times, and you are the time, but except you're not, you're outside of time. But anyway, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. So let's all watch what we're putting in our mind, in all of our gates, and let's watch what we are speaking, because God within is listening, and the God around us is listening. The world, the universe has our back, and this is such an exciting time to be alive. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me on J62 of this Momentum Challenge. Right now would be a good time to subscribe, like, and leave your positive comments. Let me know what was your favorite part of this first book by Florence Shinn, The Game. Maybe what things you will be working with in the Momentum Challenge to speak powerful words into your life that speak powerful dreams, goals, visions, purposes, and acts of service. All right. Thank you so much for joining me and knowing you're having a wonderful day. And you know what's next. Peace in, peace